Hello there. We are back to another episode of basically playing Baldur's Gate because I'm too tired to do anything else of more productive interest, and this is our playtime. So, let's see where we were at here. We were in this room. I believe, asked the golem to open up some doors, and we're still exploring, kind of heading north from here, I think.
I hope this is worth it.
And I think we've successfully looted all of the stuff that's of high value, hopefully. Looted. My goodness. Yeah, that's probably good.
I'll see to it.
I don't know if we need this item again. Hopefully we don't have to fight those golems. Spoilers, I think we probably do. I think. Minsk with 69 life. How about it? Oh yeah, we got the auto.
Nature's servant awaits.
So she doesn't really do bows.
Give me some direction.
I got a sling. You got a bow.
You point, I punch.
You're also all bowed up.
I'm waiting.
Let's do it. I don't know if it's correct, but I have this idea in my mind that focusing on one of them at a time is better. Or, like, because if you succeed at taking one of them down, there's fewer attacks from the enemy per unit time next round. And especially these low levels, it's really important to not get hit too many times. You know what I'm saying? I haven't checked the math, but that's my intuition about the kind of game risk. We don't need to pick up literally every battle axe. But
I'm there.
I think
Swords, not words.
Swords,
Where
not
Minsk
words.
goes, evil stands aside.
Let's not base our national and international policies on swords, not words. I like words. Words are pretty great.
Give me some direction if it must be done.
Any special goodies? Just battle axes?
I'm
Okay.
waiting. It's probably best left to me.
Oh.
Let's do this quick and pain.
One of the fears I have now is that maybe this will be too easy. Mind you, my characters have actually taken damage. I'm going to play this so badly that it's possible that these characters might die. Oh boy.
Yeah. Let's do this quick and pain.
I don't know what's a greater threat, the Mephits or the goblins. I kind of guess that the Mephits are probably more dangerous because they have special abilities, even if they have similar health. No, I think they actually have more health.
This quick and pain.
Note to self, Mephits, greater danger.
Next time.
Feel the backhand of justice.
Peace and quiet.
I await your need.
This reminds me so much of Candlekeep. Dusty old tomes all over, bookcases nearly spilling. It's like we never left.
But we did, didn't we, Menglish? I just want to go home again. It doesn't matter where it is, just so long as I can call it home. Okay.
Yes, it is done.
I think the gemstones are probably worth picking up in terms of, like,
Hey, not a concern.
I am ready.
value per space that it takes up. And as far as I know, you can carry any amount of gold, so gold's basically
Give me
free to
some.
carry.
I hope this is worth it.
Alright, let's kind of check out this library. Oh, wow. Lots of books. I guess one of the questions is, do we want to sit here and read books? Oh, wow. There's a whole bunch of them. There's number 1 and 2. Shadowdale. This sounds cool. They're 1 copy each, like for each of the versions of this book. Wow, there's so many. I wonder how long they take to read. Where's volume 1? 1. Sembia. Oh, I'm bad at guessing. Okay. Oh, these aren't too bad. Okay. History of Shadowdale 1. History of Shadowdale, the fall of Asmere, last Drow Marshal of the Twisted Tower. The Drow rule of Shadowdale lasted nearly 900, until the early 900s Dale Reckoning. That's kind of an interesting thing that I wonder why it got into fantasy as much as it did. It's definitely part of our actual real world history, is having like different histories, different clocks on when year 0 is, different calendars. I don't know what Dale Reckoning is really, but that's interesting. When the increased human population in the area brought the Dark Elves into conflict with their now more numerous neighbors, the humans were the Dalesmen, who a millennium earlier had crossed the Dragon Reach and made peace with the elves of Myth Draenor. That just sounds cool, Myth Draenor. Settling at the borders of the Great Woods, that was the elven home. The Drow found themselves under continual attack. Most of those who held the overground settlements retreated back below. The last powerful Drow leader was Asmere, the Marshal of the Twisted Tower, and the last Drow held days. Asmere oversaw the last retreat of the Drow holdings in the face of a human uprising, and held the citadel against a year-long siege. With supplies and slaves brought up from the Underdark directly into the tower, the Drow could have conceivably held out forever. However, a human slave family, histories in the Dale indicates a number of possible individuals, poisoned the well in the tower, and the citadel was easily overrun. Asmere's body was not found among the dead, leading some to believe that he had escaped back into the depths to rejoin his people. Noting the fact that he would have had to explain to his matriarch how he lost Shadowdale, it is much more likely that, should Asmere have survived, he went into voluntary exile, hiding from both humans and Drow. Given that this account occurred only 400 years ago, it is certainly possible that Asmere still lives. Let's put these books back one at a time, just because
I'm waiting.
I doubt I'm going to take all of these books with me. Like, that would be a little bit... That one. That one. Okay, let's read number 2. History of Shadowdale 2. History of Shadowdale. Ashaba becomes the first Lord of Shadowdale. Upon taking the Twisted Tower and removing the Drow yoke from the people, the Dalesmen had fully established the Dale of Shadowdale. With its seat of power in the tower itself, its first lord was a water wizard who had aided in the final attack. Ashaba, who was great in age when he ascended, and ruled peacefully for 40 years thereafter. That's nice. It is said that Ashaba realized he was dying and turned himself to water merging with the river. Since that time, the river, ford, and the Twisted Tower all bear his name. Before passing on, Ashaba chose one of his trusted lieutenants as the new Lord of Shadowdale. Presented to the people of the Dale, he was made the new Lord by acclamation. In an additional honor, the pendant worn by Ashaba was thereafter recognized as a symbol of the lordship in the Dale lands and was possessed by each of the successive lords following. Okay.
Yeah,
So there was this
what is
conflict, and then basically somebody took over after that conflict and was peaceful, and then there was a lieutenant or somebody who took over after. Number 3. History of Shadowdale, number 3. History of Shadowdale, Joedith, I'm going to go with, and Tyrist Massacre. The past 100 years have been an example of the best and worst of the Shadowdale, best and worst of the lords of Shadowdale. All have been non-native to the Dale lands, though all made their land, the land their home. A century ago, the Lord of the Dale was one Joedith, a stiff-necked agnostic who denied the power of any god, good or evil, and used force to back up his beliefs. So I don't really get that. I mean, maybe it's possible, but in a world that is so obviously strongly fantasy and there's so much magic, including divine magic, it's kind of weird in a way that somebody would not believe. I don't know. Anyway, context. Maybe I don't get it yet. During this time, there was a great deal of religious persecution, including a massacre of the Tyrists on Watcher's Knoll. Joedith was eventually killed by a beast of the Nether Plains summoned by parties unknown, which then proceeded to rampage through the Dale. The beast was killed, and Shadowdale rescued by the spellcasters Aumri and Sylune. Aumri was proclaimed the Lord by acclamation. This is really like a very brief changing over of powers in these records, which I guess kind of makes sense. Like, you think about the little writing that might be done by a civilization, it might make sense that the leadership was among the things that people captured. Okay, History of Shadowdale, number 4. These book volumes are going to really test my ability to actually understand Roman numerals. Okay, History of Shadowdale, Aumri rules in peace. The longest period of peaceful rule was by Lord Aumri and his wife Sylune, better known as the Witch of the Shadowdale. They ruled over the community for 40 years, a period of extended peace with their neighboring Dales, nations, and the Elven peoples. It was this very peace and power which made the Dale the target for attacks and sabotage by the Black Network, Zentarim. They sought and still seek to control the trade from the Moon Sea to the Sword Coast, and desired to make Shadowdale a vassal state of Zential Keep. Lord Aumri's rule ended tragically when he was assassinated by Zentish agents. Volume 5. History of Shadowdale 5. History of Shadowdale, Jaiorden, oh boy, these words are going to be tricky for me. Jaiorden, the false lord. Maybe. Okay. Lord Aumri was assassinated by Zentarim agents, who in turn were captured and killed by the warrior Jaiorden. Jordan? I'm just going to say Jordan. Jordan, with the pendant of Ashaba in hand, the symbol of lordship in the Dales, proceeded to present himself as the new lord, and was so acclaimed by the people. It was unknown to the people that Jordan was also an agent of the Zentarim, and that the entire proceeding had actually been a ruse. Jordan abandoned the Twisted Tower, instead establishing himself in Castle Crag, east of Shadowdale. His court was soon overrun with agents of the Black Network. When the people eventually revolted, Zential Keep sent... Blah. I was thinking about that as like a verb, keep, but then it's like, no, it's like a keep as in a type of building, a type of, not building, but place, facility. Zential Keep sent peacekeeping forces to maintain Jordan's rule. Sylune, Lord Aumri's widow, Now aware of the deception, but a firm pacifist, did her best to keep the Dale healthy and intact during Jordan's evil rule. All right, next one. That was 5 we just did. Let's do number 6. History of Shadowdale, Volume 6. History of Shadowdale, Kelbin kills Jordan. I feel like, by the way, before we finish reading that, it's kind of like this setup that feels like an archetypical story. It's not the hero it's not the hero pattern or arc here. Well, maybe it is about to be with Kelbin, but just the like things were good for like a long time, and that set this kind of precedent, and then it was broken and things got corrupted and then had to come back into the fold of things being good. Who knows? Maybe Kelbin won't solve the problems either, but okay. Kelbin kills Jordan. Lord Jordan's rule of Shadowdale ended when he encountered Kelbin Aronson, also called the Black Staff. The story at the time was that Jordan accepted an invitation from Kelbin to visit Waterdeep, and there he took ill and died. In reality, Jordan ambushed Kelbin as the mage was leaving Shadowdale, and the Black Staff killed him. In either case, Kelbin took hold of the Pendant of Ashaba, the symbol of lordship of the Dales, in the Dales. They're happy to remind us of that. Actually, you know what? Since they're separate volumes, it is appreciated. And returned to Waterdeep with it. Promising to send a suitable candidate for lordship to the Dales, Jordan had ruled for 5 years, and without his advocacy, Castle Crag was abandoned, and the Zential Keep troops routed. Jordan's previously chosen successor was a Melvontan named Lyran, but without the pendant, this individual was considered a pretender to the throne. Okay. That sounds almost like happenstantial of that Jordan tried to do some kind of murder and the Black Staff was just like, nope, I'm killing you. But maybe that wasn't really the Black Staff's goal to take down a ruler, but rather just to survive being, trying to survive being killed. Okay, so History of Shadowdale, Volume 7. History of Shadowdale, Lords Accepted by Acclamation. This acclamation of the people has formed the basis for the choosing the Lord of Shadowdale since the routing of the evil Lord Jordan by Kelbin Blackstaff. Usually, a predecessor will step down as opposed to dying in office, and his chosen successor will be approved by the populace at large. This system has had its drawbacks, as will be shown below. Oh, interesting. But in general, it has served the independent, self-willed people of the Dale very well. They have avoided the genetic lottery of which good bureaucracies and bad kingships are made. A quote from the venerable Elminster. Elminster, if I remember, is one of the major heroes of Farron. Is like a wizard, amongst other things, and a fighter. The symbol of the lordship is the pendant Ashaba, a device owned by the original wizard and used to determine the rightful lord of the Dale. Okay. So that was 7. Oh, that was 7 right there. There we go. We're moving here. Okay, so History of Shadowdale, Volume 8. History of Shadowdale, The Time of No Lords. During the period when Kelbin Blackstaff held the Pendant of Ashaba, the symbol of the lordship in the Dales, Sylune, widow of the murdered Lord Umri, was the de facto ruler of Shadowdale. Though these years were known as the Time of No Lords, Sylune and an adventuring company known as Main's Band were responsible for driving out the Zential Keep forces and keeping at bay the monsters in the area. The Twisted Tower, the traditional seat of leadership, remained uninhabited following its abandonment by the evil Lord Jordan, and neither Sylune nor the companions of Main's Bane wished to assume the mantle of leader. With time, Main's Band passed on to other lands and adventures. I wonder if that's actually from some, like, books in this world. that we're reading like a little sneak peek of, like books that actual people in the real world wrote about the story. Okay, History of Shadowdale, Volume 9. History of Shadowdale, Volume 9. History of Shadowdale. Doust Sulwood becomes Lord of Shadowdale. 3 winters following his defeat of the evil Lord Jordan, Kelvin Blackstaff found a suitable candidate to assume leadership of the Dales, or rather a group of candidates. They were the Knights of Myth Draenor, so named to show their interest in the Elven territories and their connection with the Elven peoples, and Kelvin gave them the Pendant of Ashaba, the symbol of the lordship, in return for services rendered to him and to Shadowdale. Their leader, the Ranger Florin Falconhand, refused the honor of the lordship. It was therefore passed to Doust Sulwood, who was made the new lord with the support of Florin and Sylune, wife of the murdered Lord Aumri, and apparently also the secret support of Kelvin as well. 2 things seem really weird to me about these books, because they are books. One is how short they are. Like the size of the writing must be large, or I'm misperceiving how thick the pages are, or something. Anyway, Doust reoccupied the Twisted Tower, and driving out the last agents of the Black Network, he also reinstituted many of Ashaba's democratic ideals, including the Lord's Court, where all citizens may speak freely and air their grievances without threat or reprisal. Doust ruled for 5 years and proved to be a capable leader, beloved by the people. The regular presence of the Knights of Myth Draenor did much to ensure the protection of the area, particularly against incursions of Lyran Nanther, the Pretender. Lyran was to have been Jordan's named replacement, but with the Zentarum routed, there was little validity to the claim. Sweet. We just got through book 9. Now, before we get into reading these other books that we got, what else we got? We got 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow, there's a lot of these books. 10. History of Shadowdale. We're just doing it. We're going for it, folks. We're gonna read these books. History of Shadowdale. Ilminster moves to Shadowdale. It is of note that during the time of that Doust Sulwood was of the Knights of Myth Draenor, assumed the role of Lord Shadowdale. Elminster took up residence in the area. A semi-regular visitor up to that time, he took possession of a low, abandoned tower at the foot of the Old Skull and declared himself to be officially in retirement. I can't remember if Elminster is immortal or just very slowed in age, or if he is just a normal length of life human. I don't think the last one is true. The nature of that retirement varies from active involvement in local affairs to long-term vacations on other planes. The natives of the Dale have come to the understanding that they cannot always count on the powerful mage being in residence in times of need or danger. But when he is present in these circumstances, his aid is usually given. Okay. Yeah, interesting. He is, I think, if I remember right, very powerful. Okay, Volume 11. Doust chooses Morninggrim Amcathra to succeed him. Doust Sulwood, recommended to the position by Kelvin Blackstaff, ruled Shadowdale as the Lord for 5 years. Seems like a millennium, he was oft known to have reported, and the tedium of court life and the lure of adventure eventually caused him to retire his position and rejoin the Knights of Myth Draenor in regular adventuring. He handed the Pendant of Ashaba, symbol of the lordship, onto one of the younger knights, a Waterhavian noble named Morngrim Amcathra. Morngrim had been dispatched by Kelvin from Waterdeep for other purposes, but Doust liked both the young man's straightforward honesty and his willingness to shoulder the burden of protecting the small community from myriad dangers. Time has proven this choice to be a wise one. So that was, I think, 12, right? No, that was 11. My bad. 12. History of Shadowdale. Cheryl and Morninggrim meet and marry. The implications of Kelvin, Blackstaff, Aronson choosing the last two lords of Shadowdale, Dost Solwood and Morninggrim Amcathra, were not lost on Dale's powerful neighbor to the south, Cormyr. An agent was sent northward to divine Morninggrim's true intentions and to guarantee the Dale's continued good relationship with the throne of the Purple Dragon. The agent was a rogue named Cheryl Rowanmantle, sent by Vangerdahast, maybe. Though all paperwork on this matter has been curiously incinerated in Suzail, so all is hearsay and tale. Cheryl discovered more than she intended and fell in love with the young Morninggrim. The two married and became the Lord and Lady of Shadowdale. Cheryl's loyalty is now to her husband and to the land they co-rule. This was probably not the intention of the Cormyrians. Nice. 13. Morninggrim's rule. Since being recommended to the position by outgoing Lord Doust Solwood, Lord Morninggrim Amcathra's rule of Shadowdale has been less peaceful than he had hoped. The first battle of Shadowdale occurred in the year of the Prince 1357 DR, that's the Dale Reckoning or Dale something, and involved Daleland forces routing those Lyran and Lyran the Pretender. Lyran has made repeated attempts to gain the lordship, as was intended by the former Zentish puppet Lord Jordan. While significant, this battle pales when compared to the larger battle fought on the same site between the Bane-led Zential Keep forces and Dales during the Times of Troubles, which occurred 1358 DR 0 PR. I don't know what PR is, but I guess it's a thing. When the Battle of Shadowdale is referred to, without a number, it usually means the second battle. In addition, Morninggrim has to deal with a large number of skirmishes, incursions, a possible invasion from below, explosions, and other sundry disasters. I wonder what invasion from below means. I guess with the Farron world, it has the Underdark, and there are many things that might actually come up from beneath the ground to attack. A whole different set of dangers and nations and monsters and such underneath the ground. Okay, so Morninggrim and Cheryl have one child, Scotty, who is now 9 winters old. I was going to say years old, but winters? All right, we'll take it. By the customs of the area, he is not considered the heir, a parent, and another suitable warrior or mage may take the reins of power of the small community. Most feel that Morninggrim will hold the pendant until his son has reached his maturity, then abdicate in his young Scotty's favor once he takes his grown name. If this happens, it will be the first occasion of the lordship of Shadowdale passing down through a family. That's volume 13, and that was it for these shelves. I'm going to try to keep a little bit organized by basically throwing all these Shadowdale ones together. Because I know we've got these other two, but they're kind of different topics from what I can tell. History of Tethir, Bells of the Deep, Mistra, something about Elven Courts. Dead Tree, Dragon Coast. What I just want to make sure is that we're not looking at any others that have numbers for the Shadowdale series. Nope. Lost Kings. Oh, it's actually quite a neat selection of different books here.
Nature could find a home here if it were properly cleansed and balanced.
These are the sounds that the characters make when they're just so bored. But honestly, I've been through the game and focused on combat stuff before, and I will probably think about combat more later. But for the moment, I am kind of just interested in... Wait, we already looked at this one, didn't we? Want to make sure we're done with the shadows of the Shadowdale stories. I think we are. Valley of the Gods. Sounds cool. Yeah, okay. I think we've done all of the Shadowdale books. So, I think in that case, let's actually call it there for this video. We'll of course come back to it and read some of the other books, and then we'll move on to adventuring through the rest of the dungeon. So, I will catch you in the next video, and have a great day.